But who caught this? I mean, I'm thinking about how many people working on the show look at these pictures.
I did. It seems to be I'm the only one.
Yeah.
And well, hey, all these years later, all the power, right?
Yeah. But that's yeah. But I think that's something to be proud of. That's a keen eye.
And that goes back again, also on that same
EnterpriseMission.com
conference
study page that you and I talked about, but you presented in great detail.
2006.
That's how I know, very strong suspicion.
Because Mars Revealer went to
Dr. Hoagland
EnterpriseMission.com
conference
first.
2006.
All right. Mars Revealer found the key to Mars, basically. Get to Mars.
UFO Diaries. Sidonia.
Sunset. Well, guess what?
Mars Revealer found the key to Mars, basically.
UFO Diaries.
Started as a pilot with a set of
Face on Mars, mysterious pictures
of intelligence
were made up to sell the show to the network.
of intelligence
In a Masonic lodge.
And the first
UFO Diaries.
Face on Mars
Sidonia.
Sunset story was written by
Chuck Selye
and
Lee Shackelford.
The planet Mars is next to our own, the fourth world counting out from the sun. Surely no intelligent life could survive there.
again. Yeah, back to him. Chuck Selye.
But secondly, Lee Shackelford and I wrote those words, okay? I mean, we wrote them, and we were the writers.
Well, then I'm sorry about any what may sound like accusational tones and stuff like this. You know, because, you know what I mean? Of why that would look like that. You know, and I appreciate you being on because the listeners are really concerned and interested in this. Because still, their logical mind, no matter what we say here, and I know that these faces are real, but I would love if I could get these images in my hands personally.
Let's continue to pursue this a little further, though, because
I'm all over to that.
I'm headed somewhere with this.
that's the connection to the German
UFO Diaries.
space effort. And remember,
Chuck Selye.
Masonic lodge.
OSS activities in Germany.
Well, let me give you the backstory. Let me give you the backstory and bring you up to speed on how the series came about and what was going on.
Right.
German television approached me and they said, we would like to do a series on UFOs. German television approached me and they said, we would like to do a series on UFOs.
The Nazis and the Masons. The Nazis and the Masons.
Dealing with German
Face on Mars.
prisoners and prisoners of war and, you know, guys who've been captured.
Who became
Our
NASA.
servicemen.
Richard Hoagland, a member of our team of intelligence.
Servicemen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I think
Mars Revealer
ran into this
UFO Diaries.
material
Of intelligence.
in German. The same material that
Chuck Selye
and
Lee Shackelford.
had access to.
And the Germans brought in some German guy who is big in German television that was interested in UFOs, and they did the German version sort of side by side with us.
The Nazis and the Masons. The Nazis and the Masons.
I never really understood what he was saying because he was always talking in German, and you know, and so we sort of did ours.
The planet Mars is next to our own, the fourth world counting out from the sun.
So we sort of did ours and they did theirs.
Surely no intelligent life could survive there.
Unser Nachbarplanet Mars. Der vierte Planet unseres Sonnensystems. Ein öder Planet, kalt, mit einer dünnen Atmosphäre aus giftigen Gasen. Intelligentes Leben könnte hier sicher nicht existieren.
But we did all the research and all the compilation, talked to all of the experts of the day. From the first one spotted in the 40s.
The planet Mars is next to our own, the fourth world counting out from the sun. Surely no intelligent life could survive there.
In there, the series starts with the
Mars Revealer, Martian Revelation
patrol going to the
UFO Diaries. Sidonia.
sunset and finding a glass tetrahedron with Mars inside it.
We filmed this in a Masonic lodge.
It then has on the surface of this
UFO Diaries. Sidonia.
Sunset.
A red dot, which indicates on Mars
UFO Diaries.
where they should go to find the next clues. So they go to the red dot.
Of intelligence.
I see that, yep.
They find a city.
Of intelligence.
Many intriguing questions are raised by the apparent connections between this image from the planet Mars and ancient structures here on Earth. Perhaps the most intriguing being, does this image on the surface of another planet give us important clues to the origins of ancient structures on our world?
Sidonia was probably constructed to communicate some very fundamental information.
A buried, ruined city,
Of intelligence.
including statues,
Of intelligence.
which are big, based on Mars, pussycats.
Which now strongly indicates that the face could in fact be a real three-dimensional human-looking sculpture lying on the Martian surface. A sculpture 1,500 feet high and over a mile long, lying on the Martian surface. I and my colleagues have found a number of additional anomalous structures at Sidonia, and we have shown, using the most modern
Martian revelation
computer imaging UFO diaries processing available, that these Sidonia structures show clear evidence of being highly geometric.
In simple terms,
EnterpriseMission.com.
brother! Advanced civilization creates things like buildings, cities, pyramids, that are inescapably composed of repeating geometric patterns. And the face on Mars, its nearby pyramids, the entire Sidonia complex is simply brimming with this elegant, repeating geometric structure.
Of intelligence, the fundamental mathematical relationships communicated by the structures of UFO diaries, Sidonia,
Sunset,
are now eerily replicated in UFO diaries.
Mysterious pictures.
Complex here on
the Martian revelation,
including the very placement of the Sphinx.
The Martian Revelator. But you're a little more radical.
Mrs. Pedersen here sitting at the desk looking at these
Face on Mars.
Monster.
Mysterious pictures.
photographs and trying to say, what if, you know.
Yes.
And those are quotes that were written to be said by Dr. Hoagland, and, you know, without our voice of authority there.
American authorities are sabotaging efforts to discover the truth.
They had to invent a character who's guessing.
Right.
They had to invent a character who's guessing.
Right.
They had to invent a character who's guessing.
Right.
System initialized.
You know, what a mess.
That in itself is now the single most striking statement of intelligence on Mars that we have found.
Hoagland and his team have gone even further. They've conducted detailed imaging analyses of the face on Mars.
The Martian Revelator.
They compared it to the Sphinx and discovered that the two man-lion images contain amazing visual and symbolic similarities.
Our team's thinking is that that face is our face, or what we once were.
Richard Hoagland,
a member of our team of intelligence.
The Martian Revelator. But you're a little more radical.
Well, actually, it's the tangent of that dot is at 19.5. I actually measured it in terms of the latitude, longitude.
Cool.
So they go to this
UFO diaries
city
of intelligence,
which is supposed to be the capital of Mars at 19.5. Okay? They find an ancient ruin, desolate remnants of a Martian civilization.
Of intelligence.
Does this suggest that the builders of the
UFO diaries, Sidonia,
Sunset,
recorded in its structure a key to the inner nature of every planet in our system, including our own? Could it be there is a reason for leaving the number 19.5 encrypted in a pyramid?
19.5 is a significant number in the Bible. It symbolizes faith. In biblical numerics, 19 is associated with the most faithful people and the greatest promises in the Bible. The 0.5 of this number represents grace and hope.
And that is precisely what Hoagland and his associates have continued to do. Hope.
They find statues to big face on Mars, pussycats, that look like lions, which reminds me a bit of your new picture on your website.
Uh-oh, here comes that pussycat again.
Everybody's got to go and check out Gary's picture on his website, okay? You won't believe what that looks like.
The Martian Revelator. But you're a little more radical.